Hey, this is Kyle Early, Battle on the Home Front. We're at the Republican headquarters. I want to thank OKGOP, Chairman McLean. We have a great show today. We have Chris Powell and Mike McCulley. Stay tuned. What's up, everybody? This is Kyle Early. This is Battle on the Home Front at the Oklahoma Republican headquarters office, giving veterans a voice. I'm here with my friend Chris Powell. Thank you very much for coming.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he is Vice Mayor of Bethany, a Gulf War veteran, and also a Marine.
Semper Fi.
Yeah, I was Army, so.
Well, yeah, that's. I'll save my jokes for my Army jokes for today.
All right, man. I want to talk to you and get a feel for what the uniform meant to you when you was in.
Well, I signed up in my senior year of high school, and so I graduated boot camp before I turned 18, and I got to serve with a bunch of really great guys in the reserve unit here in Oklahoma. So it was all a bunch of my fellow Okies, and built some relationships there, and spent some time with some just really great group of people. And of course we got activated and were sent over for the first Gulf War, and that just cemented a lot of that. I think about some of those guys every day. So it's a really formative experience that the people who like you and Moto and everybody else, when you sign up and you do that and you go through those experiences at that age, it's very formative. So it has a lasting impact on how you carry yourself through the rest of your life. For most people, I'm not going to say for everybody, but for most people.
Yeah, that's that camaraderie. That's the most powerful thing of our service is that camaraderie. And that's what I love is that you're a libertarian, and we're here at the Oklahoma Republican headquarters office, but we're bipartisan right now to work together to bring veterans together, and that's one of the most beautiful things you can ever imagine. So, so when you was in the Gulf, what are some of the things that really stood out to you as in your time serving?
Well, it was an interesting experience. As we were talking earlier, I always say that if you're going to be sent to a war, that was a pretty good draw. I have no complaints. It was a very short, very successful endeavor as far as meeting our objectives and coming back home in reasonably good health. We did have some people who've had some issues with, like some of those oil well fires and some of the potential chemical exposures and things like that. But by and large, if you went to the Gulf War, you have less to complain about compared to some of the guys that went to like Iraq and Afghanistan and things like that, and were there for extended periods of time and saw things and had to experience things that were in a lot of ways much more potentially traumatic than what I had to go through. So
right. I can tell you it's super important for you veterans out there. Make sure you go to the burn registry and find out if you're able to get on that, because what you're saying about the oil wells burning, same thing in Iraq, Afghanistan, burn pits. I think that will be what Agent Orange was to Vietnam, the cancer that is formed from Agent Orange. I think my generation, that will be a big issue down the road for us. I think the burn pits were a bad deal, and they're recognizing it, right?
We just recently had a fellow named Damon Taylor, who I was over there with, who passed away just very recently from cancer, brain tumors, and he very firmly believed that it was related to that. And those fires over there, people, a lot of people now weren't even born then, but those fires and that smoke, it would be the middle of the day, and it would look like it was the middle of the night. And because of the smoke, when it was blowing your way, you just couldn't see anything. We tried to move one night in the middle of the night with the smoke blowing at us, and you could literally put your hand right here and not see it.
Wow.
And of course, then you'd blow your nose or something, and it'll come out black and stuff. So it was there can't help but be some health effects from that.
Oh, for sure.
And obviously it would have affected some people more than others, and it's something that we've all been concerned about ever since we came back.
Yeah, I'm sure. I know several people that's formed cancer right after coming back from Afghanistan. My uncle's friend, I think he passed away from it. So when you was in, how did the media portray? How did the media portray that theater?
Well, of course, we could only see so much because we were out in the middle of the Saudi desert, but I got to see a bunch of stuff afterward, and of course, we followed the run-up. We didn't get activated until after Thanksgiving, before going over there and the shooting starting in January. So we got to see a bunch of the run-up of that. And it was a classic government, here's your story kind of program. And, they told us things like, they said, one of the things that I remember specifically is that they said that there is no cooperation between Iraq and Jordan. And then I get over there and I'm in these former Iraqi positions in the trench, and I'm seeing these ammo boxes and stuff that say Republic of Jordan on them. That's not accurate. And of course, then there's some of the other stuff with some of the chemical weapons. One of the things that people who don't have any knowledge of it don't understand about chemical weapons is that they take a tremendous amount of maintenance. Anything with the military takes just all of this intensive maintenance. And whatever they had, by the time that, some of it might have still been useful when we were there, none of it was going to be useful 10 years later. It was all garbage. And of course, that's not a story that anybody wants to hear who has this narrative of supporting what was going on, so that was suppressed. So it really opened my eyes in a lot of ways to how things get portrayed differently than they are actually happening. And I've talked to veterans in all kinds of different situations. A friend of mine's wife was in the Air Force, and I believe she was in Honduras or Nicaragua, and they were at their installation then, and this was about 83 or so. Mm-hmm. And they watched President Reagan give a speech in which he denied that they were at the place that they were.
Wow.
So, and that's just part of how it works. But you can't believe everything that you see in the media. It's just not. That's not the world that we live in. We're starting to see that more and more now. But believe your eyes a little bit more than you believe what somebody tells you.
Yeah, we're still having issues with the media in 2020. I promise you that. Hey, we're going to take a quick break. Y'all stay tuned for more Battle on the Home Front. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Battle on the Home Front. Here with Chris Powell. We're discussing veterans and the Gulf War and all that good stuff. Mm-hmm. You ran for Libertarian in 2018. Mm-hmm. How was that? What made you do that?
Well, that was a long time after I got back. But I've been a Libertarian for a long time. Part of that is having my eyes opened a little bit during my military service about how the world works a little bit. But, so I wanted to represent the party, and 2018 was our first opportunity to run a gubernatorial candidate. So it was really going to kind of be an introduction for a lot of people in the state to who libertarians are and what they're about. I wasn't entirely confident in the candidates that we potentially might have as far as being able to do that well. You may have heard of one of those guys, a guy named Joe Schriebogel, Joe Exotic, Tiger King.
I do.
Little show on Netflix about him. Yeah. And then there was another guy named Rex Lawhorn who is another veteran. He was in the Army, and he, I've gotten to know Rex really well, and he would have been a great candidate. But anyway, I felt like we needed to put our best foot forward, and I wanted to do what I put myself out there as somebody who could do that. And I was able to get the nomination, and I think we did a really good job of putting out a candidate and a campaign that said, we are regular people, Oklahomans, who just have a limited government focus, libertarian focus, to increase individual liberty, and that we want to make Oklahoma a better place with that approach. And I think we were successful in doing that. So I was really pleased with that campaign. And then after that was over, I got an opportunity to run in a special election for a council seat out in Bethany, and we managed to win that one against a Democrat and a Republican, I might add. So that was turned out very successful for us, and
Awesome.
and here I am. I did get opportunity to talk to people all across the state, including a lot of veterans, and as I'm sure you and many others watching well know, we have a lot of veterans in Oklahoma from all time periods, and people in this state, they have people who served in their family, World War II, World War I, back into, if anybody who knows enough about their family history, they can probably tell you who fought where in the Civil War as well. So
A lot of the reason we joined the military is because my grandpa was a Korean veteran, and I just thought I was so proud of my grandpa, and I just thought that was the coolest thing ever, and that's one of the reasons I went in. So I know.
Yeah, it's definitely both my grandfathers were in the Navy, one in World War II and the other in World War I. I had an uncle who was a sergeant major in the Army. He joined the Army National Guard and was shipped off to Fort Chaffee. And on the way to when he got there, they asked who wanted to go to Hawaii, and he raised his hand. And so he did boot in Hawaii and then straight to the front in Korea.
Oh, wow.
So that's how you learn not to volunteer.
So you are vice mayor of Bethany.
Mm-hmm.
What opportunities do veterans have there? Where's some good outreach that they can go if they're struggling, if they need that camaraderie that we yearn for as veterans? What can they do there?
Well, I'm a member of the American Legion, and we've got a post 12 out there on 50th Street that serves the Bethany War Acres area. Obviously there's other organizations, VFW and other outfits like that. But really, I would say in Bethany, if you just walk around and talk to people, you won't go very far before you run into another veteran. I mean, they're just it's kind of got a little bit of that small town feel that you don't necessarily get in Oklahoma City proper so much. And anybody in Oklahoma who hangs around in small towns knows that you can't swing a cat without hitting a veteran. I mean, we're just all over the place.
Chris, you've been dispatching in the police department for 6 years. What's the climate like there right now?
Well, I did that, and I still take calls over there from time to time. It is a kind of a difficult time, and I think a lot of people in the public have never really had a tremendous grasp of law enforcement, how it operates, and right now there's a lot of antagonism. One of the things that I would say to anybody that is really interested in policy change in law enforcement is that you need to get involved. You need to get educated.
100%.
If you, it's really hard right now with the COVID-19 stuff and all that to do things like ride-alongs and things like that. And I don't have a problem with anybody who is critical of this or that. I can talk to show you patrol officers who will tell you that they have all kinds of things put on their plate. That they're asked to be relationship counselors, youth counselors, accident reconstructionists, mental health experts, social workers, 47 other things. Oh, and also we'd like you to catch a criminal every once in a while, but don't hurt anybody. And we're asking people to do this, and people are fallible. You're never going to get the perfect officer. And if you try to do some things like automate it, we've all seen RoboCop, right? We know how that goes. So it's not an easy job, and a lot of the things that we don't like about the way policing works goes back to the policymakers. Blaming that patrol officer on the street, sometimes they do. You have somebody who does something they shouldn't do. But most of the time, they are following the directives of the people that we elected and we put in position and said, go out and do this and that. And if you want it done differently, change the policymakers. So that's certainly something to look at. But you also want those policymakers and the people pushing those policymakers to have some idea of how it actually works out there. Because if you judge everything from 15 seconds of video, you're not getting an accurate representation of the world as it is and what people are dealing with and what officers are dealing with and trying to work with those people and help those people, and in some instances be in conflict with some of those people.
Yeah, I think we talked about that earlier. That's a lot of that media control and manipulation, and it doesn't project every officer. There's good ones, there's bad ones, and so I think you're spot on with that for sure.
Yeah, real substantial beneficial policy change does not occur from watching 15 seconds of a video. Absolutely. It comes from hard work to understand what's going on.
Absolutely. Well, Chris, thank you so much, man. Y'all, this is Battle on the Homefront. Stay tuned. Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Kyle Early, Battle on the Homefront. I want to thank OKGOP Chairman David McLean for representing veterans and giving us a voice in Oklahoma. I'm here with Mike McCauley. Thank you so much.
For having me.
Yeah, 8.5-year Navy vet, law enforcement since 1980, and 2020 run for Oklahoma County Sheriff.
I did. That was the most exciting thing I've ever done in my life. I wanted to run for an office forever, and I was at work one day, and I finally said, I know what I want to run for, and it was Sheriff of Oklahoma County. And the primary, I got 11,400 votes for the first time ever running for an office, and I was tickled to death. But we have another gentleman right behind me. His name's Tommy Johnson. He's a good guy too.
Awesome.
I throw my support behind him. I think my voters threw their support behind him. And administrations has changed now.
Awesome. We're praying and wishing him the best on it.
Yes.
So I want to talk to you. Tell me the temperature right now with law enforcement and the defunding the police, please.
Well, I've been out of law enforcement since March, but I listen to newscasts and people on the television and Facebook and everything talking about the rampant, mad police officers out there trying to kill people and doing things like this. Folks, I guarantee you there's no police officer out there, one, that wants to pull that gun and pull that trigger. Back when I first started as a police officer, I was in 2 shooting situations. And that was back when the DA would come out, look at the scene and say, you're clear or you need to worry. And if you was clear, you never had to worry about it again. Now, when you pull that gun, it's going to be a lifelong battle for courts and everything for for an officer to go through. They're automatically judged, bias or racist or any other topic they want to put on them. And it's not fair. Just like the gentleman before me, there is bad people in every profession. There's bad people that was in the Boy Scouts. There's bad people that are ministers. There's bad people that are nurses. Bad people that are doctors. We chose a career as law enforcement officers to go out and help people. And that's all my desire ever was. I loved the excitement. I loved being into all sorts of stuff. But nowadays, they have to worry about losing their homes. They have to worry about making a mistake and being in court for the rest of their lives. The environment, you know, they want to take their money away. The environment is just ridiculous anymore. It is so far against police officers that I don't know why there's anyone still out there and, you know, enjoying the profession.
Yeah, I agree and disagree with you in a sense, as in there's bad people in every profession,
Yes.
like you said, for sure. And there's cops that have murdered people in cold blood, and they should actually
There are.
absolutely be persecuted to the fullest, just like a criminal. 'Cause
I
that's
totally
criminal. I think. Tell me how do we get to where we're having less of these issues? What do you think could happen?
Well, you hear training. Officers need more training. Academy, from what I understand right now, is almost 6 months long, and they cover everything. You know, the traffic, domestics, crime scenes, handling mental patients, and it's all covered. And it's all taught very well. But it's how that officer wants to take it and use it in the field, it's up to him. The Oklahoma County Sheriff's Office has a great training division. They really do. And everything we was taught there was how to de-escalate and do this. But again, you can't make somebody go out and do what they're taught. You know, I used to call officers that would go out and just be bullies badge heavy.
Right.
Because that's all they want to do. They want to throw their force around. I was never that way. I have never hurt anybody. You know, I've never set out to intentionally hurt someone. I remember the one time I was arresting someone, one of our regulars in Shawnee, when I was a police officer in Shawnee. He just decided he wanted to fight, and I already had a handcuff out and getting ready to open. And so he turned around and started doing this, and when I came up, my handcuffs scratched the top of his head. I was petrified because I'm not there to hurt somebody.
Right.
And, you know, but we have these officers out there that do have problems, and the one thing that needs to be looked at is why aren't the other officers telling about these people?
For sure.
They
For
can
sure.
see the stress. They can hear the stress. It's very easy, but you've also got to have the administration to sit there and say, we need to talk to you for a little bit and see if this man needs some time off the streets, if he needs a vacation, whatever. But you can train somebody all day long, 365 days a year, put them in a uniform, set them on the street, and it's up to them how they use that training.
Absolutely. I think if it's always the start, defunding the police is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. I think it needs to go into the training of those cadets in the academy, and I think it would be super important for them to go more in depth in training with them, especially on the Constitution of the United States. I think that would help a lot, and for the most part, a lot of Americans need to read that too. I think that would help progress those police officers in their career.
Yeah,
For
well,
sure.
it's easy to find the Constitution, everything. It's all on your phone. You can find all this on your phone. It's very simple reading. It's made for a sixth grader, if not less, from when they wrote this. So anybody can understand that, you know, the Second Amendment, you know, now I can't say it. You know, the right to bear arms, you know, shall not be infringed. But you have the other factors that your city council, other councils, mayors, they want to be on everybody's side. And it's kind of like whoever speaks the loudest gets the most acknowledgement. So when you have groups that come up in the state that, the police aren't doing this, the police aren't doing them, let's just defund them. Let's do away with police. You don't want to see what this nation would be
No.
like without
No.
police. You don't want to put an unarmed person in the middle of a domestic. So they have got to listen to the law enforcement people, the professionals in law enforcement that has the degrees, that has the education, that has the street knowledge to know what to do.
Absolutely. Hey, we're about to go to commercial. Y'all coming right back. Battle on the home front. What's up, everybody? We're back on Battle on the Home Front, here with Mike McCauley. So we've been talking police. Let's talk about sheriff and what the difference in the two are.
Well, a sheriff's office and a sheriff's department is a legislative group of law enforcement officers. The legislation says every county will have a sheriff's office, but every municipality may have a police department. So the difference is a sheriff is voted on by the citizens in that county, and they are the top law enforcement in that county. They supersede chiefs of police, they supersede anyone. So they are the top law enforcement in that county. So what you look for when you vote for a sheriff is what you want, what you hear this man say. Do you want a department that has no goals, no ambitions, somebody that just comes in and says, I'm going to leave things as they are? Or do you want to bring new blood in that has new ideas, that has, there's nothing wrong with new ideas. There's nothing wrong with thinking outside the box. That was one of my things when I ran for sheriff. I want people to come to me and say, hey, can this work, or let's try this? And I want to sit down with them and say, hey, let's talk it out. But the sheriff has the obligation of law enforcement within the whole county. The sheriff's office enforces state laws. They don't enforce municipal laws. So jaywalking is something we can't enforce, or some other thing that only a municipality would have. We can't enforce that, or they can't enforce that now. I keep saying me, but it's just a whole different criteria. It's like being state police, because that's what we are, but for this county. And it's just amazing to step out your front door and know that this is the county that I live in. This is the county that I provide law enforcement for. And that's what you want to look at somebody and see their goals for this department, their goals for their people, their goals for the community interaction, and you got that. I mean, Tommy Johnson, the gentleman that beat me out, just a wonderful man. He has the same goals. He wants to see our my department. He wants to see the sheriff's office move forward and get away from, no future. But the person you put in that office is going to be the one that's responsible for every law enforcement activity in this county done by his sheriff's office. And that's a big responsibility. And with a man like Tommy Johnson, he's got the shoulders. I've stood by him. He's got the shoulders that can handle that.
Awesome. Well, cool. Is there anything else you want to address and bring up?
Well, I'd love to bring up a little bit about my Navy experience.
Please do. We love that.
Yeah.
Come on.
I joined the Navy Reserves in 1991 at age 39, 11 months and 2 weeks.
That's old for joining the military.
Hey, I had every waiver there was.
Every profile you could get.
So, but I was lucky. I had a lot of medical training, and they wanted to bring me in as a corpsman.
Mm-hmm.
So I went in under the program called APG, Advanced Pay Grade. And good gosh, I didn't have to go to boot camp. We went to we did 3-4 weeks in New Orleans to learn to march and the laws of the Navy. But I got back and I was assigned to a Marine unit, and Fox Battery 214 out here in Midwest City. And I was lead petty officer for them, and then we had 150 young men that me and my crew, other fellow corpsmen, was responsible for keeping deployment ready.
Yeah.
And I tell you what, I kicked myself every day for not joining the service earlier. But I had a wife that said, yeah, let's not do that.
Yeah.
But once everything kind of settled down, she finally said, okay. And I went into the reserves. And again, I love every second. And I think I got a grandson that is just counting the days until he can go in.
Yeah.
Because the structure, the respect you learn for this country is more than you will ever get in
Absolutely.
the public environment.
Absolutely.
But please, if you're young, you need a job, and you've got some smarts in you, think about one of the militaries. They are fantastic. You get great benefits. Unfortunately, not as a reserve.
Yeah.
But you get great benefits, and it's a great career.
And even if you're not smart, you can go in the Army like me and just be infantry. That's all you gotta do.
I did want to say that.
Hey, so tell me how you feel about Trump passing the VA accountability, the Veterans Choice. Please.
Like I said, unfortunately, I'm not privy to any of that, but I tell you, any man, woman that has served in the military deserves everything they can get.
100%.
And if it's getting to choose your own doctors, feeling comfortable about where you're going, my gosh, let's let them do that.
For sure.
And just do the benefits for the men and women of this country. The less than 1%,
Yeah.
I think, that
Something like that.
honestly enlist because they love this country. They want this country to prevail around the world as the strongest worry against any other country. And, let's give them what they deserve. Let's give them the respect that they deserve. And say thank you once in a while to a man and woman in uniform at the airport, or if they're out to eat. I had people buy me lunch when I used to go eat out. And it was really humbling to know
that's
that
an amazing feeling.
that there are
It's an
still
amazing
people
feeling.
that respect us, veterans and the people that are in the military right now,
Yeah.
that deserve it.
Absolutely. And I want to thank you very much for coming out. Everybody, this is Battle on the Home Front. And I want to remind everybody, my veteran brothers and sisters, if you struggle with mental health, reach out, message us, contact us, whatever we got to do. There's no shame in it. And when we're under fire, we call for help. Y'all have a blessed day.